friend Aldo, Crusades of Motivation. Oh, you know what? I wanted to bring up Aldo too. Before we get rolling, you did an interview with our guy Chris Shawarma, right?
Yeah,
The
man.
burpee
Yes.
aficionado, right? So I'm gonna have to put a link down below, guys. Check that out. I don't even want to. I was gonna say I'll spell his name, but I don't even want to try and spell his name. Chris Shawarma. He's based over in Berlin, but he's from originally Guatemala, correct?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and now he lives over in
Worldwide.
Berlin. But he's an all around guy too. He's a burpee practitioner, everything fitness. But now I think he said he was training for some type of ultra marathon. Real interesting guy, well versed and stuff. And it was a nice interview with you two guys. So I'm gonna put the link down below. I want everybody to check that one out. So all right. So the topic for tonight. This is something we've talked about before. Obviously, it's in everybody's face. We know there's an obesity epidemic going on in the world. Probably more so in the United States, really, than anywhere in the world, because it's kind of like I think it kind of germinated. It started here, and we're like exporting it, in by sending all the fast food restaurants and people are, for lack of a better term, they're becoming Americanized, right, in their way of living, their way of eating. So the diabetes epidemic, the obesity, it's spreading all over the world to the point now where in the United States, 75%, right? That's 3 out of every 4 people are considered either overweight or obese or morbidly obese, right? 75%. So, the medical establishment will have everybody believe that it's genetics. I don't believe that. I don't believe it for a second. Genetics plays a part in your body type. Um, it's obviously is going to play. Genetics will have a part in your metabolic functions and all. But to go from 50 or 60 years ago, where most people, I think in 1960 the obesity rate was 13%. Fast forward to today, we have 75% are overweight or obese, right? So it's out of control. I think that we are more a product of our habits, of our consistent habits, than we are of our genetics. I firmly believe that, and there's really not much that's going to change my mind. That being the case, this was something that I saw actually some time ago, and then I happened to see another article that came up with a similar subject. So a while back, there was a girl. I guess you would call her an influencer. She's on TikTok, I guess on all the social media platforms, Instagram. She started up this movement where she made up. It was her contention that if I go on an airplane, and she is morbidly obese. She's a young girl. I don't know how old she is. She might be 30-ish. She looks very young. And she has a boyfriend, a significant other, whatever you want to call, and this guy is just as big as she is. Her contention is that they travel, they like to travel, they travel a lot, they're always on airplanes. So they say, well, we don't fit on the planes. The seats are too small. So we should be given a second seat free of charge just because the seat's not big enough for us. And now she takes it further. She actually has this petition up online that she's trying to get people to sign. And the last I looked at it, she was looking for 50,000 signatures. She's up to about 38 or 39,000 signatures on this petition. In the petition, she says that the airlines should give the free second seat, and in some cases, if necessary, a third seat for free. Right? Then she says that the the bathrooms on the airplanes should be expanded. They should be made larger. She said that all of the employees at the airlines should receive sensitivity training on how to deal with oversized, plus size travelers. Right? Um, And this should all be at the expense of, because all of these demands, if they're implemented by the airline industry, of course it's going to cost a lot of money, right? You're talking about redesigning, I guess, tens of thousands of airplanes, or you're going to have to redesign, all these aircraft, and somebody's got to pay for that in the end, and it's going to be people that don't need the extra seats. And she took it even a step further now, to in today's day and age, this whole woke culture, everybody's a victim, right? It's good to paint everybody as. So she said that she's being victimized because when she gets on the plane, people look at her and she knows what they're thinking, that they're thinking negative things about her. And she said, she was traveling, uh, and she didn't get an extra seat, and the person next to her put the armrest down, and it gave her bruises, and she was in pain. So, I mean, it goes on and on and on. Just ridiculous. In my mind, it's ridiculous. Um, and nowhere along the way did she say that, I do like to travel. I am overweight. So what I'm going to do is, rather than tell the world to change, I'm going to try and change. Right? I'm going to look at myself and say, maybe it's not everybody else. Maybe the whole world doesn't have to change to accommodate me. Maybe I should get my life in order so I kind of fit in, instead of making demands on everybody just because, right? Um, and then I happen to see this other article about a woman, kind of similar situation, overweight. She calls herself a plus size travel person. She doesn't, but same thing. She's what she does is she gives people ideas, basically, on, hey, if you're traveling and you're overweight and you want to get a free seat, this is what you should do, right? Book the seat late because they over. But I actually linked the article that I'm referring to now, and then the page for the petition with this other girl's demands. But anyway, my question to you, Aldo, is, where does it end? I mean, do we owe these people? Like, should I be paying, for somebody else's airline seat? I mean, I'm not comfortable flying myself. You know what I mean? And it can get expensive. You really have to be strategic when you buy your ticket. But should I now be paying for the guy next to me? And Southwest Airlines actually does have a policy where they say that, if, in a nutshell, if the person is large enough that their body goes over the armrest, they're entitled to a free second seat. That's on Southwest Airlines. That they have that policy. So they're actually giving these people a free seat. You know what I mean? If your body goes over that armrest. So what's your take on that? Where does it end?
Man, well, first I'm gonna tell this girl to get the fuck out of here with that shit. Cause we are not doing that shit, okay? That's fucking crazy. Okay? Get the fuck out of here with that. And that's what the problem lays, Vinny. If we keep enabling this shit, it's only gonna grow. We need to speak
Right.
the fucking truth, man.
Right.
This girl knows that she's fucking overweight. She needs
Of
to do
course.
something about it.
Yeah.
And why should we? It's like me. I speak Spanish, right? I was always comfortable speaking Spanish better, but I didn't. I fucking had to learn English because I moved to America, and in America you speak English. I can still of course speak my Spanish to some people,
Right.
but I'm not gonna have everybody else. Hey, I don't speak English. I sense. It's like me saying that to everybody else.
Well, I
So
got I got to tell the audience, whoever's watching tonight, that before we came on tonight, you demanded that I start speaking Spanish to accommodate you, and I said no, I can't do that.
yeah, no man,
No.
no man, and that's what the fucking problem is, man. Everybody's is trying to be okay with this
Yeah.
this people that big bone, right? Which statement, nobody's big bone. All of the bones are skinny under.
Right.
It's the outside that gets big.
Yep.
But we need to stop this, man. We really need to. And speaking about it is a way, right?
Yeah.
Speaking about it, and when something like that comes around, be against it if you know it's wrong. Don't be
Right.
like, oh man, I don't want to make that person feel bad. I'm just gonna either not say anything or I'm just gonna stay on the side and just give him that extra seat.
Well, yeah, that's what it comes down to today with this cancel culture. We have this. Um, it's really a minority of people with the loudest voice, and people really are afraid to speak up. Now, I'm not saying that when this girl gets on an airplane, that everybody stands up and says, "You fat," this and that. And no, I'm not saying criticize anybody, ridicule them, make them feel less than. Absolutely not. That's not what I'm saying. The point that I'm trying to make is, who are you, regardless of what your situation is? And there's no doubt in my mind that this girl, her situation, she's that size as a result of her lifestyle habits. You know what I mean? And you have this whole fat acceptance thing where you have to tell um, people it's okay to be over. No, it's not. It's
Mm-mm.
not. First of all, it's extremely unhealthy. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. Fat people don't live long. To be real blunt, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of health issues that go along with it. So I'm certainly, and I would never do it to my kids. I don't tell them. Again, I'm not ridiculing people, but what I'm saying is that's not right. That's not the way to be. That is absolutely not the way to be. You want to be healthy. You know what I mean? And don't play a victim. Because that's what this girl is doing. Well, you know, I get on the plane and I could just tell the way people look at me that they're ridiculing me. And I know that they don't like me just by the way they look at me. You know what I mean? It's bullshit. Stop it already. I don't want
You
to hear
know,
it anymore. I don't want to hear it.
you know what's
Do
funny?
something.
That's funny. That's her own self telling her that. She knows.
Oh, of course. Of course. Of course. But the bottom line is it's much easier because she doesn't want to change because that takes work. You know what I'm saying? That takes effort. That takes self-discipline, which she doesn't have, obviously. You know what I mean? Yet she has time to push this bullshit and start up a petition. And, if you go to her page, I mean, God help me. I mean, if you see the size of this girl and she's prancing around in bikinis, like showing everything off, it's ridiculous, you know? And the boyfriend is looks like he's an enabler, like he's just as big as she is. So, you know, um, and Frankie, there's a good point there. I see it in the comments. What about the baggage weight? So the last time I traveled to Florida back in September of 23, September, October 23. We went with my grandson. It was his first trip. So we had a lot of extra baby stuff and we were checking a bag. And when you check a bag, the limit is 50 pounds. And my daughter had 52 pounds worth of stuff in one bag. And then the other bag had about 40 pounds of stuff. So now in the middle of the airport, they made us open up the bags and transfer stuff into the other bag. So you had one bag now was 42 pounds and the other one was 50. You know what I'm saying? So, and they gave us an issue. And otherwise, they said if you don't, you had to pay an extra, I don't know what it was, 25 or $30. So what about my infant grandson who needs the stuff that we packed for him, and you're going to make me you'll take the two bags with the exact same amount of weight, but that extra 2 pounds has to go into this bag. So you made me stand there with an infant and open up these 2 bags and transfer. And then this big girl is going to say, no, 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 I'm big. I like to eat and I like to travel. So I need an extra seat. You're going to give it to me for free. So
Fucking outrageous, man. And
it really
this
is.
fucking, it's just fucking, that's America for you, man. We have it easy out here. That's what, that's what a lot of people don't understand how easy they have it. And you know
No.
what? This some people like this need a fucking reality check, man.
Yeah.
They need a reality check. And hey, man, I say it again. I'm a play you tune. I hate that people make fun of overweight people and shaming, and talk shit on them. But at the end of the day, they are doing it to themselves. At the end of the day, that's a self-inflicted pain because they are not fucking happy. I mean, how uncomfortable it is to try to fit in a little ass fucking seat, and then there's a person next to you, and your roll goes into their fucking arm, and you out there fucking rubbing their roll and shit. That's I mean
Yeah.
that's some self-inflicted pain. They
Yeah.
need to fucking wake the fuck up and get it together, man, and get on this fitness life. Get on
Yeah.
this fitness life because it's possible, man.
Yeah.
We see it all the time, man. And it's just, oh man, this shit is fucking crazy.
Well, yeah, and it goes to, again, some people spiral so far out of control. If you're 250 pounds, 275 pounds, and years ago, you know, a 300-pound person years ago was looked at it as a gargantuan. You know what I mean? They were unbelievably overweight at 300 pounds. I mean, 300 pounds today is
I think
very
it's
common,
still, yeah.
very fucking common. You know what I mean? It's not out of the. I mean, you see it every day, and I I just got back from Disney World, as a matter of fact. So now, I mean, you see it everywhere. You see it everywhere, but more so when you're in some place, say like Disney World, where there's thousands of people congregated all together, right? So I'm walking through the Magic Kingdom, pushing my grandson in a stroller at Magic Kingdom, tens of thousands of people all around us, and all I can see is the food concession stands. The lines are going back. We were standing on line to go on one of the rides with my grandson. There was a family of, I'm assuming family, maybe like 5 or 6 people. They were all together. They had fucking buckets of popcorn, cotton candy. The 2 men in the group were eating popsicles, some type of chocolate popsicles. Um, the 2 kids had their own buckets of popcorn, and they were tearing into cotton candy, which is just pure sugar. And we were on that line for 35 minutes, and they were eating for 35 straight minutes, junk. And every one of them was overweight. The 2 poor kids, and they were 7, 8, 9 years old, and they were visibly, I mean, they're overweight. The boy was bouncing. I mean, he was all over the place, and the mother, I'm assuming the mother, kept grabbing him by the shirt, pulling him back. I mean, he was bouncing off the walls,
The
right?
fucking sugar.
Well, exactly. And walking around the park, the amount of people that are on those little electric scooters that you see like in the supermarkets and it didn't look like they were normal weight disabled people. Almost everyone you saw on these scooters was morbidly obese, driving around Disney World, with on one of these scooters. But anyway, my point is, it was everywhere. It was so evident every place you went. It's just the eating and eating and people overweight getting on and off the rides. It's disturbing. It really is disturbing. You know what I mean? When to look around and see all this, and it's just getting worse and worse. And then you go online and you have these people. Well, I'm overweight, and you better not say anything negative about me. As a matter of fact, you better pay for my airline seat if I want to go to Disney World. If I want to go to Disney World and eat and drive around on an electric cart, you're going to pay for my for my airplane seat to get there. You know?
Man, hey man, we're becoming a dying breed. We're becoming that dying breed, man, because I'm myself, and I don't know if this is kind of fucked up, Beanie, to be honest, man. But every time I'm around, a crowded place like that or an event or whatever, I look for fit people. And fuck, man, it's kind of sad to not see that many.
Yeah.
It's becoming rare, man, and it is the culture, and it is us as a parent, because if we show, let's say if I was obese, man, my kid is just only going that way too.
Right.
It's a generational thing, and man, we need to do something about this, because as the more we do this shit, we make in our society, instead of, because how they say that, I read this somewhere, man, but society should always look to us, to become better, to
Right.
become a stronger society. But I think for some years now, man, instead of doing that and instilling that in our kids, it's the other way around.
You're exactly right. We flipped it. It's the reverse.
Hmm. Hmm.
Rather than instilling in kids that you want to be better, you want to improve yourself, you know what I mean? What we did was we flipped the script and we told them it's okay. You can be mediocre. It's perfectly fine. You don't have to strive to be better. You know what I mean?
It,
If you're overweight, it's your genetics. If you don't win, it's okay. You don't have to try harder. We're still going to give you a trophy, right? And it's mediocrity is the norm. And it somehow got to the point now where when you tell your kids or just if you say it out loud to people, no, it's don't be mediocre. Be the best that you can be. Like you're some type of fucking ogre. Like why would you talk like that? Why would you tell that to that it's not okay to be what they are? It is okay to be what they are. But you're put on this earth to be the best person that you can be, right? And being, for a human being to sit around and eat himself to death and be 400 pounds and then be told it's okay, you're fine just the way you are. What fucking reality are we living in?
it's a fucked
You
up
know?
reality, man, and that shit comes from deeper, man. That shit's gotta be. It's gotta be deeper, Beanie. It's gotta be deeper. It's gotta be somebody out there trying to uh demeanor our society, right? So we don't have any power, man. Because you think about past times and the past generations, men was always fucking strong.
Yeah.
They were always strong, right? Men, you think about even the Wild West, man. Those motherfuckers out there fucking, hunting their prey, doing this and that. You see these men just being strong, man, and that you want to be strong. You're a fucking toxic man. You fucking toxic.
Yeah.
You're toxic. You want to be ripped. You fucking toxic, man. You
Yeah.
fucking toxic. You want to say the truth. You fucking toxic.
Yeah.
Man, this shit gets me fired up, Benny.
Yeah.
Because I'm always be talking shit on my channel. I'll be speaking the truth, man. And I know that shit hurts people, and I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Yeah. Well, yeah, unfortunately that is the case with most people that the truth really does hurt them. You know what I mean? When
But
when they can't fall back on that. And again, it's if you tell somebody it's not okay to be 300, 350, 400 pounds. It's not okay to be sick and eat all the time. And it's not okay to strive to be mediocre. Like you said, now they came up with this term toxic masculinity. Well, what the fuck does that do? Somebody define that for me. What does that mean? These fucking idiots just come up with these terms and throw them out there and they put a negative connotation and then everybody's afraid. Oh, I don't want to act masculine because they'll say I'm toxic. Well, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself in plain English, right? I'm you first of all, there's two genders. Make no
That's it.
mistake about it. There's only two.
That's it.
There's only two, right? And who's the girl now? Riley Gaines. She was a college athlete, right? And she came out against the whole transgender
Oh
thing,
yeah. Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
So, and she came out strong, right? And they branded her as like, some type of, right away they start with a MAGA extremist, ultra right, this and that. All she said was fucking common sense, that I'm a woman, that's a guy. If he wants to act like a woman, if he wants to put hormones in his body, if he wants to have surgeries, that's his choice. But he was born a male. And there's differences, whether people want to fucking believe it or not. There's differences between the sexes. Everybody's not all the same, right? And it's fucking reality. And people got to wake up and realize that there's a reality. And then there's a fucking dream world that these idiots are living in, right? Where everybody can be overweight, everybody can be sick. You can tell a child that you were born this way, but if you don't want to be that way, we'll change you. We can change you. At 5 years
Mm,
old, what kind
mm.
of sick, fucking twisted people are these that would do that to children? It's a fucking sickness, and we're letting it happen. We're letting these people actually do it. And if you speak out against it, you're a fucking pariah. Like they go after you like they want to destroy you for speaking the truth. And again, it has nothing to do with discriminating against people or you know people's sexual preference. You like I said, you want to Bruce Jenner, you want to turn yourself into a woman, or you want to have surgeries and you want to live your life pre- pretending you're a woman or whatever he's doing. That's his prerogative.
Hmm.
That doesn't mean that you have to teach my 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old child that that's fucking normal, because it's not. Normal is male and female across every fucking species on earth.
That's it, man. That's it. And you know what? I want to bring something, man. I want to bring this to the table. That anybody's preference on who they like. That's all right, man. That's not like I never like I want to come out like speaking bad because you like this, you like that. But I really want to make this point on your character, because that's also an important thing to know, because I have gay friends, Benny, and they're great people. Even some of these friends, they're against all this shit too. That's what people
Yeah,
don't realize, man. This is just some shit that we perceive because it's a small amount of people
right.
that are doing this bullshit, right? They they have great character. They just like what they like, and that's all right. Like you
Yeah,
said, just don't try to steal it on my kid, because kids don't know, man. At 9 years old, at 7 year old, at 10 year old, you don't fucking know nothing about that. I mean, I don't remember me myself liking girls till I was like fucking 14, 13. That's when oh man, I started being curious. Oh shit, I think I like her. You know,
yeah,
uh, you know, I believe, man, that, and I said it before, man. You gotta let them discover.
yeah.
You gotta let them discover and find themselves, man. That's one of my biggest reasons that I homeschool, man, because I do not, I don't want that on my kid's brain. I
Right.
need him to discover whoever he is, man, and I'm gonna love him no matter what. But I don't want him to have, because you influence, man. Believe it or not, you you're influenced. I was influenced by bad people. I got into alcohol because I was influenced by somebody.
Right. Yeah.
We need to let this shit go, man. We gotta wake up. I just recently watched this teenager, man. She was in a school board meeting, and she was telling her fucking. Man, it broke my heart, man. It made me want to cry. She was saying how there was this boy in the locker room, changing. And she's like, I didn't know what to do because he was there, so obviously they allowed him in the girls' locker room. So she's like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I wanted to change in front of him. But then I see him, taking his clothes off. So I'm kind of going into the corner over there so he doesn't see me because she knows that that's not right for a boy to watch her change. She's
Right.
like, that's the first time I get to see a boy. I mean, she could see the penis of the fucking thing, man.
Right.
I mean, how heartbroken would you be if you were that parent? If I was that fucking parent, I'd be fucking
Exactly.
pissed off. Like I feel like she's getting violated,
Absolutely. That's
and that's
exactly
just
what it is.
in this fucking school first. This fucking school first, man. How can these motherfuckers allow this shit when a school should be a safe place? A school should be a place where you go and you're supposed to strive to be fucking better. A safe environment,
Right.
somewhere where you're gonna grow into something better, right? That's what's this the. I mean, I used to think that. I don't think that anymore, but I used to think that that was the purpose of school. When I was a little bit more ignorant.
Yeah. You and me both. I mean, growing up, I thought, but if you look at it now, it's a school where you want to send the kids to learn, and you assume that when you send them to school, they're going to be safe in a physical sense, but also in a mental sense. Like I said earlier, you're going to teach like young when they're most impressionable, because from birth until 7 years old, that's where your values are instilled, in those first 7 years. And you're literally showing, you have these drag shows at schools, and you're telling kids it's okay to do this, and talking about sexuality and some of the things in the books that you read in these books that they have in the schools.
Oh man,
It's
fucking.
off the charts. It's just unbelievable. And these kids are impressionable. So, you know, again, like what, but and the people that revolt against this and go to these school board meetings and say, hold on a second. What are you teaching? What are you showing my kids? I mean, think about it. It's okay to have these drag shows, and it's guys dressed up as women, and they're doing these lewd acts in front of young kids, and everybody's saying, "Oh, look at that! It's be who you want to be." And what if it was two heterosexual people doing stuff like that? And if a man and a woman, a real man and a real woman, came into a classroom of young kids and started doing lewd acts in front of kids, they'd have them put in handcuffs and dragged out and put in jail. But this other stuff is okay. It's being normalized, and it's not normal. It's not. No matter how many times this small minority of people, you know, um, and like you said, you have some gay friends, and even they'll admit that no, that's not right, because they have a preference. They have and they know, okay, but that doesn't mean that their preference, that they're trying to push it on other people.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But this, like you said, there's something more in play here. They do everything to divide us, whether it's with the transgender, race is probably the biggest one that they use, religion, right? Everything they do, they have to divide us. They have to divide us. You know what I mean? They paint, they teach, black kids that you're a victim, and this is instilled in them, right? And then they're teaching white kids that you're evil because your ancestors did A, B, C, and D, right? We have this girl now. I'm overweight. I'm a victim, and if you don't give me a free seat, you're victimizing me, right? And if you don't have the same religion as me, um, you don't believe in the same God as me. Everything they do, it's just a way to drive a wedge between people. That's all they want to do. And people say, well, who's they? Well, it's not, you know, the government. is part of it, but there's actually, like, you know, an even higher power than that are driving this agenda. Because that's number one. That's rule number one to control people as a whole. Keep them divided. If people are together and they think, or they're tolerant of other people's ideas, and they can, they say, no, that's okay. I can live with that. We could still be friends, like I say all the time. Just because we don't have the same, we don't think alike, we could still sit down and have dinner and we could be friends. Oh, you don't think like me? Well, that's great. I think this way. You think that way? Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. You working out tomorrow? Okay, I'll meet you. I'll meet you at the park. It's perfect. It's fine. But they can't have that. They can't have that as a whole, because they can't control people that way. Because really, it makes it so much easier when they have people always fighting, when you have two or more sides just fighting amongst each other. Because then you just got to sit back and go, look at them, look at them. All right, tell them that these people do this and they're evil, and tell them those people, and then they sit back and laugh and watch everybody destroy each other, basically. You know? So
Fucking crazy, man. Fucking crazy.
it
Somebody
really is.
recommended me to read this, and which I am going to, man. I keep fucking forgetting. But they told me to read about the Weimar Republic in Germany, and they were talking about man, that's a lot of what happened there.
Yeah,
So that's something that's for the people, man. Man, we should all check it out and speak about it. The Weimar Republic.
yeah,
And I didn't know this yet. I didn't know that some of these things already had happened.
yeah. Well, it was exactly what they did in Nazi Germany. I mean, if
Mm-hmm.
you look back, Karl Marx, Marxism, and you read all of these, what was it, the Communist Manifesto, all of these things spell all this out, and everything that they talked about way back then, and I'm sure it predates even that. It goes way back further than that,
Mm-hmm.
probably till the beginning of time. These tactics, and that's exactly what they're doing today. Like I said, whether it's, it's always race and religion are always right there. Now they're making it the sex thing. They're finding a way to divide people on that, and that's all you see, like on social media, right? It's just I'm right, you're wrong, I'm right, and it's just everybody has their opinion, and everybody's just fighting, trying to convince, and it's the hardest thing in the world. Like, if no matter how strongly you feel about something, you're wasting your life trying to convince somebody to change their mind. Like, everybody wants to convert the person to the way they think, and that's not the way to do it. It's, you want to convince them that it's okay to think the way you think, but it's not okay to force your beliefs on other people. That's what's not okay. It's okay to be different, because we are different, but as different as we are, we're still the same. You know what I mean? So it's not okay to, just because you think that everybody should do 100 burpees a day, that everybody should do it. Because most people are going to go, fuck that, I'm not doing 100 burpees. You say, okay, I'm going to do my burpees. After my burpees, we're going to get together and have coffee. How's that? And we'll talk. Beautiful. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
it. That's it.
It is, um, but for you to just spend your life, you know, how come you're not doing those 100 burpees? You should be doing 100 burpees. You know why I do 100 burpees? Because it does this. So that's why you should be doing it. And you're not thinking straight if you're not doing 100 burpees. What's wrong with you? What are people going to say? Go fuck yourself. You're not going to change anybody's mind, right? The answer is tolerance. That's the answer.
Great.
You know,
Great answer.
not because, well, if you think differently than me, you're going to get fucking canceled. Or if a comedian tells a joke, he's fucking gone. You know what I mean? Like, it's just ridiculous how you could do it. People tearing down statues.
Mm.
And half of these fucking idiots that were tearing down the statues, they had no clue of what that statue stood for. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, and you can't go back and change. You're not going to change history. What happened happened. You just got to make sure that it doesn't happen again. If it was the wrong thing, obviously, right? And how are you going to do that? By working together, not by being divided. So anyway, that was a big come around from talking about overweight people getting free fucking airline tickets.
No, man, but that's great points right there, Vinny. I really appreciate that you said that because that's really what it comes down to, man. Yo, I'm brown, Vinny's light, and look at us. We're kicking it over here. I've got a fucking thick accent. Vinny's got the perfect English, and we out here kicking
I don't know about the perfect
it.
English.
But no, no, seriously, that's what really it really what it should come down to. You know, really focus on the character that we have and who as people as a person express to the world, and that's what's important, man. That what you said, tolerance, right? You out here trying to understand my English. You're being tolerant, you know. um Understand my opinions, hear my opinions. You don't have to agree with them, but you can be tolerant, and we can fucking move on, and fucking we get a set on Sunday, or maybe next week we get a set, right? You're gonna teach me some shit by sharing your opinion with me in the same way
Right?
from here.
Yeah.
And that's what really it should come down to, man. We fucking forgetting about this, and I'm so glad that you bring that up because I think that's the core, man. Uh, Brown, black, whatever. You gotta
It
stay
has,
united, man.
yeah, and it really, at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? But they want you to believe that. They want you to believe that. You know, just like you said a minute ago. Here, you and I are. I'm a 60-year-old fucking old white guy, right? And you're a young Mexican guy who was born and raised in Mexico City and came here. So what do we have in common? It fucking turns out a lot. It turns
Mm,
out a lot. Because in the time that I've met you, the conversations we've had, I've learned a lot from you. And I have a lot of respect for your talents, the way you talk about raising your son. I have nothing but respect for you.
thank you.
But they would have they would have you believe that, Aldo, watch that guy. He's 60-year-old white guy and he probably voted for Trump. So, he's, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but they put everybody in a fucking box,
Hmm.
you know? Um, and that's what it is. And again, it goes back to what I said earlier. That's how you keep everybody under control, by keeping them divided. Like, you and I aren't supposed to be friends. You know what I'm saying? If you
Hmm.
follow the script, you and I we have no business being here talking like this. You and I,
That's true.
you know, if you listen to the script. Let's see who's in the chat here. George, as always, what's up, brother? Frankie F16 is here. Facts don't care about you. No, absolutely. Yeah, George. Who is responsible for the can? There are. It's more than one person, I can assure you. Um, but who they are, they hide themselves well, and they have other people doing their bidding for sure. George says, "No way in hell somebody likes to be fat like a seal." I don't think so. You got a good point there, my friend. Seven Fitness is in the house. What's up, brother?
Shout out to all the bros. Thank you.
Seven says we got a serious topic, but he got to laugh at how we break down the scenarios. Well, yeah. Well, we're just trying to. Seven's a straight shooter too, Aldo. You've seen you watch Seven, right? When he's He speaks from the heart.
You
Joe
need to,
Strummer from the
man.
heart.
You need to, man. You can't be afraid, man, because that's exactly what the program is. Be afraid of speaking, man. Luckily enough, man, I've never been afraid. I just be speaking.
Yeah.
And that should get me in trouble sometimes, but I don't care, man.
Yep. Tim affects in it. What's up, Tim? We're living. Tim says we're living in the last days. I hope not. I hope not,
No,
Tim.
no, Tim, I'm trying to get that 100.
Yeah, exactly. The pendulum seems to swing back and forth a little bit. I can only hope that it doesn't go too far where it doesn't come back. That at least it gets close to the middle again. That's all we can hope for, George says humanity has always been. That's true, George. Like I said, we got the powers that be. Seven says the truth hurts. Yeah, that's part of it, Seven. It's definitely a big part of it.
We need that shit, though. Sometimes it needs to hurt a little bit so we can wake the fuck up.
Yeah, a lot of us need to wake up. Seven says another glorious day. That's the truth, Seven. Appreciate you being here, brother. All right, Aldo. I think we covered a lot tonight.
Yeah, you got my heart racing. Man.
So yeah, we brought it full circle. I think we got a lot out in the open tonight. So I think we're gonna cut it there. And as always, I appreciate you, my brother.
Thank you.
I appreciate everybody that was in the chat tonight. Everybody interacting with us, taking your time, to listen to us go back and forth. Hope everybody stays well. Make sure you get your reps in. Everybody have a good night. Stay safe. And we're going to see you in the next one. Good night, guys.
Thank you.